FM 94, The Dark. JC hanging out with you here. And yes, it is that time. It's a Wednesday night, and you know what time that is. And what it is on a Wednesday night, we get to talk to a band that we play right here on The Dark and get to know about them a little bit more. On the phone right now, I'm talking with the lead singer of the band, Silvertung, and I'm talking to Speed. And Speed, how you doing, first of all?
Good, JZ. How you doing, brother?
Hey, not too bad. I think spring is finally showing up again. I think we got temperatures close to 60 degrees again, and we're melting the snow that we had last week. That was fun with that snowstorm, let me tell you.
Oh, that was crazy. Baltimore even got hit with some crazy weather last week as well.
Hey, we want to learn a little bit more about your band, Silvertung, and obviously, how did this project, this band, all come about?
Well, actually, funny thing is it started off as a side project for me, and we were sitting around. We were trying to come up with a name for the side project, which ended up being my main project. And we were sitting in my uncle's basement, and we were jamming out, and we were trying to come up with a really cool name. And we come up with all these really crazy names, and guys being guys, I just happened to look over, and my uncle had porno tapes. And I think they were VHSs or something like that. I think that's what they were called, VHSs. And I pulled one out, and I'm like looking at it. Of course, guys being guys, you got to look at them. So we're checking it out, and I said, I think I got the name of the band. And the guys were like, well, what's that? And I said, Silvertung. And I started cracking up laughing, as a joke. And these guys looked at me serious and went, dude, that's badass. I like that. I'm like, okay, cool. But I didn't like the spelling, the Tongue.
Right.
I didn't like that. So I did some research, and I think I found something on Tongue Mafia. And I loved the way it was spelled. So I put those two words together, and boom, Silvertung was born.
There it was. So now we know the origin of the name. Obviously you said it was a kind of a side project that turned into a main project. Let's talk about this band a little bit, and what the band members and how you guys all came about that way.
Well, when I first started the band, I had a few different members than what I have right now. I ran it for about a little over a year, and it just wasn't gelling. And I kind of had to put it away for a while, and I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it back out. So I put out a bunch of ads, and I wanted some serious musicians, people that weren't going to do it as a hobby. I didn't want to do it as a hobby. And I got an answer from a bass guitar player. His name was Scoot. So I was like, all right, cool name. I like the name. Let me see what he's all about. So I got him on the phone, and I was filling in, actually, in his part of in the Maryland section where he was living at the time. And I said, I'm filling in with some friends of mine down there, and if you want to come out, check me out. I'll get a chance to check you out. If you like what you see, you like what you hear, we can maybe start something here. So he came out, and he was blown away. He was like, oh my God, dude. He said you really got what it takes. And I was like, wow, thanks. But so we hooked up, and I let him hear some demo tracks that I had, and he was just like, man, he said, I'm all on board on this. He said, you got some really great stuff here. And so then we put out another ad for a guitar player and a drummer, and we found him. It wasn't easy, but we found him. I think Dano came along first, and we were rehearsing with him back and forth a little bit, because I play rhythm guitar as well. And then we were looking for a really hot lick guitar player. We wanted someone that was going to be able to be flashy, yet tame themselves at the right moment and play with feeling. Instead of playing this makes it sound like a machine, we wanted someone that had feeling, kind of like Slash from Guns N' Roses. Mm-hmm. Plays with feeling. So it took a while, and the 53rd guitar player that we auditioned was this guy named Zach. He come in, real long blonde hair. Guy he got a good positive attitude with him. He started playing with us, and I was like, that's it. That's our guy right there. Everybody looked at each other. We all agreed. We asked him what he was doing 2 weeks from then. He said, I don't know. I said, I know what you're doing. And we gave him the gig, and we did our first show with him.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's pretty much how the band got together.
That's how it all started. That's good. That's what we want to know. We're talking with Speed. He's the lead singer of the band Silvertung. Talk about the band and the makeup of it in the sense of the music. I guess, how would you describe your music?
Oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah, I get asked this question a lot, and I always try to give a different answer because there's so many different variations that I could tell you what it really is. I mean, pretty much we're a straightforward hard rock band. The thing is we don't have a message to tell everybody. I've been asked that question, so what's the message of the band? Well, there really is none. I guess if there was one, it would be, let's just have fun. Let's get together for the next 3 hours and just forget about all the stuff and crap we got to deal with, bills, and some people have to work 9 to 5, and let's forget about all that for 3 hours. Let's just hang out, party, have a good time. Life's too short. So I guess it's kind of we're a heavy band, get melodic. People ask me, what do you sound like? And I'm like, I don't know. We sound like Silvertung.
Yeah.
I mean, we have tons of influences. I mean, dating back to Black Sabbath. We didn't just dig into what we grew up on. We grew up in the '90s. We grew up on our roots of like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Godsmack and Disturbed, and so we dug into like Black Sabbath as well. Great bands from back in the '70s, and we just kind of grew into. People call us a hybrid band. And I guess by saying that, it's kind of like we took a whole bunch of different fields of rock music and just put them all together and said, this is what we like. This is what we want to sound like. And this is what we sound like now. And it's really cool because it's got that groove, like almost like a Seven Dutch groove, or, even Godsmack and Disturbed. They got really cool groove to them. And that's kind of where we get some of that influences from.
Yeah, it was. I've actually got your latest copy, "Devils in the Details," and obviously I've listened to it. And yeah, I was trying to pinpoint who this maybe remind me of, and you're right. You really can't pinpoint somebody, and I could definitely tell you guys are having fun on the album.
Oh yeah, that was one thing we set in motion to. And the funny thing is not only did we want to just have fun, we wanted to write a good album. Not have one or two hit songs. I really don't care about hit songs. I just wanted to have something that somebody could pop in their stereo, driving down the road or something, or on their iPod, and just from track 1 to track 12, just be done with it, worrying about everything else. Just be done with the whole album. Just listen to it all the way through. And knock on wood, so far we've been very, very lucky with that. And a lot of people like the entire album.
The first song that you, I guess, have probably released to radio, at least that I know of, is "Coming Alive." What's the meaning behind that song, if there is any meaning? Because you mentioned kind of really not much meaning to the album, or at least to the music. But I guess what's the inspiration behind that, if there's any? And talk about that song a little bit, and I guess the whole makeup of it.
Coming Alive actually was when we were on the Uproar tour with Godsmack. I think it was Godsmack and Disturbed that year. We did like 5 or 6 dates on that tour, and I had this riff that I just kept writing, in between the shows, and we were driving 10 hours from every venue, and I just had this riff, and we kept meeting different people all through all these different cities, and everybody had like the same story. It was, they work a 9 to 5 job. They don't have a lot of money to spend, but yet here they are at our merch table spending $50, $60, $100. And what I've realized is when we all go to work, I mean, I've had a 9 to 5, straight out of high school, I had a 9 to 5 job. So when you get a job, you have to kind of dress the part. You kind of have to talk a certain way, dress a certain way, keep your hair cut short. And is that really you? Is that really what you want to do? But when you get out with your friends, or you get with people that you have something in common with, like rock shows, you come alive. You become who you really, truly are. Because you don't have to be something. You are who you are. And that's kind of where Coming Alive came from. It's all about just being who you want to be when you can. We don't always get a chance to be who we want to be. So when you get that opportunity, that's when you're coming alive. Like us, we come alive the minute we hit that stage.
Very cool, man, and I like that. If that's the meaning behind it, I think it's a great song. Then, obviously, because I hear you right there. A lot of times you get cookie cuttered into who you should be in that, and this is a way that you get out there and you're rocking, and all of a sudden you just turn into somebody who you really are.
Exactly. I mean, that's who I always wanted to be, was someone on that stage, and to be able to entertain people and have everyone have just a great time. I lost my parents. I lost my mom at an early age, so I know what it's like to lose things, and I know what it's like. We're not rock stars, and we don't want to be rock stars, but we understand the downside of life. Well, you're always going to have a downside of life, so be who you are when you can. Come alive when you can. So that's kind of where the song came from.
We're talking with Speed, the lead singer of the band, Silvertung. Let's get to know you a little bit more, Speed. How about what's in your music collection that might shock me coming from you being the lead singer of a band like you are?
Johnny Cash.
All righty.
I love Johnny Cash.
Nothing wrong with that.
Another one, Elvis Presley.
Okay.
I dug Elvis, even though he was a little bit on the industry side. He was kind of driven from the industry, as you can tell through the years. I did some research on Elvis, and very cool cat when he was young, and the industry just kind of molded him to be what he had to be. And I thought that was really cool. It was sad the way it all ended for him.
Right.
Stuff like that. Brian Setzer.
Yeah.
I love that man. Can play guitar like no one I've ever heard.
Now, see, Brian Setzer, I could see you possibly kind of picked up because of maybe your parents listening to that. Elvis Presley, well, Johnny Cash possibly. Elvis Presley, maybe not so much because you're pretty young yet, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Actually, I picked up the country and the Elvis from my grandparents.
Okay, there you go.
My grandfather actually played banjo as a bluegrass player on the radio.
Huh.
And that was very cool. So I kind of picked up, the Elvis and the Johnny Cash from it. But my dad also listened to Johnny Cash, and my mom was a big Elvis fan as well.
Right.
They liked the Brian Setzer stuff, and I think it was Stray Cats Brian Setzer played for prior to.
Mm-hmm.
So I dig into a little bit of everything. Even I go as far as like Al Di Meola and Pat Metheny. I love listening to that style of stuff. I mean, my heart is rock music, without a doubt. But when you get to listen to, there's so much great music out there. So when you get a chance to do that, you kind of open your mind up to, wow, I don't have to stay in this box and write just like this.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, what current band in active rock right now do you really dig right now?
There's a lot of them, actually. One of my favorites that we toured with is Pop Evil.
Okay.
Became very, very good friends with Lee and Matt and all the guys, and that's probably one of my favorites as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite music band. If you're looking at that, I would have to say Alter Bridge. I love Alter Bridge. Amazing. Oh my God, are they so talented. Great band.
Have you got a chance to play with them at all?
We're going to,
okay,
because we're going to be at Welcome to Rockville.
Yes, you are.
In Florida.
Yeah.
So we will actually be with Alter Bridge, and I'll finally get to meet my idol singer, Miles Kennedy.
What do you think that's going to be like?
I don't know. I'm kind of actually anticipating. I'm a little nervous to even say anything to him. It's kind of weird, and it's funny because this is going to sound weird, but it's funny because we get that. There's people that come up to us and they're like,
right.
Women and guys,
yep.
And it's more women, but a lot of guys too. They'll come up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, you're such a great singer. You inspire me to do blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "Okay, that's cool."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that. But now I get on the flip side of things, and still I'm like, I still don't know what to say. What am I going to say to Miles Kennedy?
Miles will probably.
Dude is just amazing.
Yeah. Miles will probably go, "Hey, you know what? I'm a huge fan of you." You never
That's
know.
probably all I'll get out. Because I don't want to go, "Hey, Miles Kennedy, you're my..." And I don't want to look stupid, so.
Hey, here's a good question then for you. What artist would you like to cover one of your songs?
Wow, I've never had this one. Wow, that's got a really cool. What artist would I like to have cover one of our songs?
Yeah.
Actually, I would like to see, because they've done it on another variation, I would like to see Nickelback cover our song "Daddy's Little Girl."
Okay.
Only because, like Nickelback and like Buck Cherry, to me they kind of beat around the bush a little bit. You know, they don't really dig into the meat of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I did on "Daddy's Little Girl." I just dug into it and said, "This is what they want to do."
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And if anyone has had a chance to listen to it, if you haven't, go ahead and buy the album on iTunes.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Daddy's Little Girl.
I'm very intrigued because I got three girls of my own, so you know. So I'm very interested now.
No.
Oh no,
now you're hating me.
I just say you're corrupting me now, aren't you? I'm sure it's bad. No, I'm curious of that now, definitely. But yeah, that'd be cool. Nickelback doing that.
Well, actually, you know what's funny about that song is I actually wrote that song in a strip club. we were actually in a strip club because we were playing. There was a local television show. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
a local television show that was using our music, and their big sponsor was Scores.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And the producer was like, can you write something that the girls could dance to? You know, more of something for them.
Right.
I said, well, you know, I'm kind of working on this one song. I said, but you know, let's see. So we went out and shot some footage with the television station, and I'm sitting there and I'm actually starting to see things, and I'm trying to take it from the factors of, you know, there's when kids grow up, they become adults. Mm-hmm. Some people seem to forget that, you know, just because they're a little kid, no one can see the end result to what they could be.
Right.
And watching strippers, you know, I used to sit back and I used to watch, and I mean, some of them, you know, I go, wow, she's old enough to be my mom. And then some of them, you know, you're sitting there going, oh, she's working her way through college. Wow, she was just in high school. Wow, what's going on here? So I started writing, sitting in the strip club, and that's how I wrote that song.
Nice. Well, I love it. The title of your group is from a porno, and some of your songs are from a strip club. This is a perfect band.
Yeah, we're not trying to be like the band that writes about pornos or anything.
I know.
It just happened to be some things that I guess as a guy, maybe it's just a guy thing. I don't know.
How about this question for you, Speed? We're talking with Speed, lead singer of the band Silvertung. If you had to put together a 3-band bill, all right, who would be the other 2 bands that Silvertung would play with that night? And here's the deal.
Well, definitely have to open.
But here's the deal, though. It can be anybody that's still together, maybe not together. It can be anybody. So basically, who would you love to play with on the stage?
The big headliner would have to be Metallica.
Okay.
Because I've loved Metallica from Ride the Lightning to now. Even the changes. I know a lot of people don't like the changes of Metallica, but I do. I think it was a very smart business move, and I think they kind of spread their wings a little bit more.
Yep.
The other band would have to be the old Guns N' Roses.
Okay, yep.
And then have Silvertung open. It's kind of like the show that fell apart that could have been the best rock show ever with Silvertung opening.
Absolutely.
So that would have to be a big dream for me.
Yeah.
Of course, we know the Guns N' Roses thing will never happen.
Probably not, but you never know. You just never know. Hey, Speed.
We almost had the opportunity to open up for Motley Crue here recently.
Oh, yeah.
But it fell through for us, which kind of sucked. But
yeah.
Oh, well.
Hey, what does it mean to you to hear your music on the radio?
What does it mean to me?
Yeah.
Everything. It gives me, or even the guys in the band, it gives us a sense of reality. Because radio is reality. I mean, anybody can put something on the internet. Mm-hmm. Anybody can sell you something. But when you make an impact on radio, you're doing 10 times the work that you would ever think of doing. Because radio is everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's by hearing. I remember the first time I heard our song on the radio. We were all traveling. We were touring. We were touring with Pop Evil, as a matter of fact. And we were coming through Hagerstown, Maryland, and there's a radio station up there that was playing us. And at first, I didn't catch it. I didn't catch that it was us.
Mm-hmm.
I just started bouncing my head, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this is us!" And we stopped the tour van, pulled over, and we just all looked at each other and just started screaming because we were like, "Yes!"
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate. It's like our ultimate goal, small goal, to where we are right now. It's just, I don't know if there's really a feeling that would ever overtake something like that. When you get the first time you ever get to hear your own song, something that you created on the radio. That's pretty amazing.
Hey, we got to wrap things up here, Speed. We're talking with Speed from the band Silvertung. Tour, as we mentioned there. Have you ever been up to Minnesota, I guess, first of all, and played?
No, but we want to.
Okay.
We truly, truly want to get up there.
All right. And then I guess the next question would be is how do people get more information about your band and how can they get their music?
The easiest way is to go to www.silvertung.com, and that's T-U-N-G. From there, you can go to our iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, CD Baby, whatever, anything that we're plugged into, you can get straight from our website. iTunes is a great place to buy the album, though.
Absolutely, and obviously your new album is called Devils in the Details, a very good album indeed. In fact, why don't we entertain the fans right now with your latest song, Coming Alive? Sound good?
That would be awesome, and thank you guys so much.
Hey, thanks so much, Speed. All right, here you go. Here's the latest from Silvertung. It's called Coming Alive.